This is Ranger Kidwell Ross, the director of the World Sweeping Association, and today I'm excited to announce a new membership benefit for our association. One of the things that is out there for everybody listening to me is that you have a Google business listing. You may not know it, you may have never dealt with it, and you may have never claimed it. And even if you have claimed it, you may well not be keeping up with what's happening with it and how your ratings are going. If people have come in with kind of negative ratings for a wrong reason and that sort of thing. And in conjunction with Maximus Insurance, and you see at the top of the screen, Phil Duncan, who's become a familiar face as we've talked about insurance products. He works with a gentleman named Kyle Henzes, who is the other person that you see on the screen. They have a company called Web Mentorship. And Phil works with Web Mentorship when they get an new insurance customer, which, as you know, Maximus really specializes in the pavement maintenance area, among others, and of course, power sweeping. And they use Web Mentorship to take a look at the online presence that you have and whether the different, for example, the different products that you say you do, services you provide, are listed on your website, and whether you're doing ones that you're not talking about, for example, because it's very important that your insurance is covering everything that you do. So one of the things that is out there are companies that are designed specifically to make you look great online and to make sure to keep up with these different directory listings that can make a difference for your company and do. And Web Mentorship works with 80 plus directories to make sure that your information online is as good as possible. And they will be offering an introductory Google listing for no charge, a review, and so forth. And they also have different products that you can choose, and that's a great benefit to the association. So with that, let me turn this over to Kyle, unless you have something you'd want to say first, Phil. We'll turn it over to Kyle and talk about your Web Mentorship product, Kyle, and how that works, please.
I'll mention one thing is not the Google listing that you have. There's also pictures that you might post about the work that you're doing. And those pictures can be used as evidence against you in a good or bad way. So part of the services that Web Mentorship does, they make sure you have the right, content up that the world is searching around. And from that, I'll hand it over to Kyle.
Hey guys, thanks for the introduction. I'll get into a little bit of that too. Let me just share my screen and we'll get on with it. Okay, so this is an example of one of our clients. He gave us permission to show the Google My Business page. And essentially what Google My Business page was born from was people obviously over the years have used Google as their primary search engine. They then integrated with becoming a review platform, but people really found it as a way to have essentially a website without going and really building a tried and true website. Nowadays, websites are more so for validity than they are for any technical prowess. Everybody now can have a pretty good website if they invest a little bit of money, but the key is being found, and the key is getting a hold of the business that you want, that's local to you, that is reviewed well, and that also shows that you're kind of on top of your game. So whether you have anybody that's reaching out to you to write a review or to use your services, or to even use you as some sort of marketing component, Google My Business is pretty much the 90% of what people are going to go use, whether directly or indirectly, by just using a Google search. So this page is pretty important. You have a home page, you have posts, you have your information. This is essentially your entire profile for your business. You can change it on the fly, but there's also little idiosyncrasies about doing this that have to be legal, warranted. For instance, there's plenty of clients that try to, when they put in their first Google My Business listing, they try to change the name a little bit so that they think they're going to get more views in a particular geographic area. So we tend to help with all that. You kind of have to, what I like to call, undo the sins of your past when you use your Google My Business listing, because it is very powerful, but there's also a lot of hidden tweaks that need to be made. And, having that knowledge helps the clientele quite a bit. Not only do you have access to your reviews that most people are using this platform on, you have the ability to, kind of on the fly with our services, update photographs, services. For instance, previously COVID-19 was huge with Google My Business pages. So you can, instead of having to get a hold of your web developer to update your business hours or tell them the new protocols, we took care of all of that for our clients pretty swiftly. So with all of that aside, you're going to see some basic charts and graphs here, and I won't get too in the weeds about it, but these are essentially showing you how you're being found. Now, this is obviously a very good client of ours. They're at an 88.2% discovery rate. That's how people are finding their business. They're using the web to find their business, whether they're in that geographic location or not. And then if you look at the green portion, you have the direct business. So that's, if you're handing out flyers or you're well known in the city, or, that could be any sort of marketing campaign that you're doing on your own, that could also be contributing to your business. It's oftentimes beneficial to see this number in the lower percentages, because you obviously want truly organic marketing. You want people finding you through the web. And this is obviously a perfect example of what we'd like to see our clients get to. Now, again, more graphs, but what this really does is shows you who's looking at your services, what kind of trends you have. We want to see something that's fairly consistent across the board. This is for a quarter mark. You can change it to, seeing what happens within that month. And it just gives the client kind of an idea of how things are trending. Now for COVID and things like this, we saw a change in these graphs significantly. But then you also have an idea of what coverages you're actually hitting with your Google My Business listing. Now, what we were discussing before with listing services, that's your yellow pages that, believe it or not, are still around. Your Amazon, Alexa, any AI services, Google Home, anything like that. We have a partnership with them, so we can get you on all those platforms. So if you want to say, hey, Alexa, find me the best sweeper in this county, they'll be able to pull it up and send it directly to your phone, or however you have that set up on your side. But what this kind of database shows is all of that working at once, right? So this has your total listings live over here, and excuse me if it's a little small, but this essentially shows them being live on 61 current listings. Now, most of the time you're not going to be live on all of them because they might not be applicable to you, because these could be new businesses that are they have new versions of AI, and they're developed in San Francisco, et cetera. But the good news is this will constantly find those, sift through them, and make sure that you're on every platform that's applicable to what your business is sharing. Okay. Now, here's the one that a lot of people want to see. Where do you rank? That's called the Google 3-pack. That's a common term you might hear from internet marketing people or people reaching out to gain your business. Essentially what that is where do you rank when people search for your business within that given area, okay? For instance, here, this has our client above Geico's insurance conglomerate, right? Which is pretty huge considering the way they dominate local markets, but they've been with us for a bit. It takes a while to get organic listings going and moving. And this just shows you who's looking at you on a phone, who's looking at you from your desktop computer, tablets. We obviously want to see a mobile trend for our clients because we know everything's moving that direction. The UIs on phones are much easier than computers anymore. The beauty of all of this is that this does all the grunt work in the background while we can go ahead and maintain this and make these tweaks and changes and upload photographs for geotagging and keyword searching. But we also give you the ability to manage your reviews on your Bings, your Googles, your Yelps, your Open Table, things like that. So in a snapshot, that's pretty much what we offer. You're going to get your directory listings that are going to put you where people need to find you. You're going to get an actual analytical picture of what's going on and where we can make those micro adjustments to help you out. We want to claim your business and do it the right way. Half of the businesses we work with don't even know they have a Google My page, Google My Business listing. But once you understand the power of it, you'll realize how important it is to being found, and how after you kind of get used to seeing changes evolve into more business and workflow, then it's pretty hard to get away from. Google is, as you know, a giant, but they also, you have to learn how to navigate the waters with them, because they can't beat your beck and call. So if anything messes up on your side, which oftentimes detracts customers from using Google My Business the right way, is that you're not going to get an immediate response. So having somebody like ourselves that's done it with all of our clients, who kind of know the ins and outs, and then we're also here for we can build microsites for you, ways for other ways and more, I guess, newer technologies for clients to reach out to get a hold of your business, whether it's a microsite or a prefabricated lead form that helps you kind of keep your business in line and making sure you have leads come in the door. So hopefully that wasn't too long-winded, but that's essentially what we do in a nutshell.
Well, let me chime in here and say to everybody that one of the things that I've seen at worldsweeper.com, as well as World Sweeping Association, working with contractors for the last 30 years, and as the internet has progressed, is that people have a Google listing. As Kyle said, everybody has one, whether you know it or not. And if you don't claim it, then if a customer, a disgruntled customer, or let's say competitor, wants to try to take you down or lessen your impact, they can go in and even claim your Google listing because you haven't. So they'll say, yeah, this is me. Here's the email address to give it to. They don't use their company email address. They set up a Gmail or a Yahoo or something address that's pretty untraceable once they get caught. And then they can put up negative reviews as a customer, let's say, and then there's nothing you can do about it. You go in and try to claim your listing, and they say, well, it's already claimed. And there's a really long, convoluted process that involves notifying Google on your letterhead and showing that it's your business and so forth. And that can really cause trouble. Plus, when, as Kyle said, when you claim your Google listing, then one of the other things you get to do is you put up photos, you can put up reviews, you can encourage reviews, and talk about your correct hours of operation and a lot more. So it's really important to claim your Google listing, which they will do for you as a membership benefit of World Sweeping Association for no charge, and run you through that. And then they'll also talk to you about how you can really up your game in your market area by having all these listings know about you and be able to find you. So if you're looking for customers, this is really a good way to go at it. And we're very happy to add Web Mentorship to your membership benefits at WSA.
And I'll add one thing to that too, Ranger. I work real closely with Web Mentorship, and when Kyle's able to assemble all that information, it helps me paint the right picture to the insurance company, so I can get you the best rates. And if Kyle uncovers something that raises red flags, they can work with you to make sure what you're telling the internet is really what you're doing, because that can adversely affect not only what you're paying for insurance, but it might even get you kicked out of some insurance programs because certain information's out there that can benefit, like not be good. For instance, if there's a really bad review and someone says that they had a claim and you were provided terrible service and they just had a lot of issues with you, an insurance company might use that as evidence that that they don't even want to do business with you because you didn't resolve an outstanding issue. So I work real closely with Web Mentorship with all of our clients to make sure that we help them manage their online identity, which more and more insurance companies are doing. They're not really trusting what you say; they trust what the internet says more than what an insurance application says. So this is a key part of how we make sure everyone we work with, does a good job online and has a good reputation.
Yeah, and not only might your insurance company decline, but they could rate you higher, and you wouldn't even know that was the case. You would just have a higher rating, and maybe in that case it's called a lower rating, but in any event, it costs you more money and needlessly. So that's one of the things that Phil and I talk about in another one of our get-togethers like this, is to go through. We went through the websites of one of our advisory board members, Commercial Power Sweeping, and talked about all these different services and how you should portray that online. So look for that one as well. So if that's a wrap here, we'll go ahead and have that be. Is there anything else that you want to add onto that, Kyle?
I'd say it was a very great point that you made about claiming that listing, because the good side of that too is if you're not aware of the listing and you do claim it successfully, that listing has already shown analytical data and trends that you can kind of hit the ground running in a few days or so. So it can already give you a ton of data that you weren't even aware of after just making those few adjustments. So I'm glad you brought up that.
Okay, and if somebody wanted to get hold of Web Mentorship and your organization, Kyle, how do they do that? Why don't we put that information?
Yeah, so simply, if you want direct contact with me, I can be reached at webmentorship@gmail.com. And that goes to our lead developer and myself. And then we can just kind of take it from there and set up what we call it's really, depending on the client, depending on what they would like to do first, an intake meeting. And then we go from there. We see what kind of, is that the correct email address? Is that the correct actual physical address? Things like that we'll go over. And then we'll set up a following meeting after that. But after the initial setup, it's pretty cut and dry and pretty smooth sailing from there. So. All
right. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
If people have questions, you can of course also reach us. Let me know as director at worldsweeperpros.org. And this is an exciting membership benefit, and I hope everybody takes advantage of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kyle.
Take care.